For example, I was working out the other day and I was talking to my trainer and he said, yeah, I have this class this morning and there were 8 people signed up, but it was a pretty gross day. It was like wet and rainy, it's gray. It was just kind of like cold and gross. And only 2 people came. And the interesting thing about that to me is how little of an edge you need to like gain an advantage. You know, like really all we're talking about there is, are you cool with being uncomfortable or inconvenienced for like 5 to 10 minutes while you're getting ready and getting in your car and it's raining and it's kind of gross. Once you get to the gym, the workout's the same as it's always been, right? It's like the same as it is in the middle of the summer. And so it's really about that little point of friction at the beginning. And that, I think, if I could pick a single biggest lesson that has come out from all the readers, it is the magic and the importance of starting. Mastering that 5-minute window, or sometimes even like that 30-second window of choosing to start and making it easy to start. That, I would say, is the single biggest theme of habits. And in fact, a lot of the time you can boil almost all problems that habits face into 2 categories. It's either making it easier to get started, so overcoming procrastination, or it's sticking with it. I did it once or twice, but I'm not consistent. But what does it mean to stick with something? It almost always just means that you get started each time you try to do it. And so you could ultimately revert it all back to mastering the art of getting started. And the easier that you can make it to get started, whether it's scaling a habit down, optimizing the environment, coming up with a better strategy, looping other people in, there's all kinds of things you can do. The more that you can do that, the more likely you are to succeed. Looking back on, now Atomic Habits sold 25 million copies, I'd say that's maybe the biggest lesson that I have, is that the people who make it easy to get started and who master the art of getting started tend to stick with it and succeed. And the people who make it hard to get started, dream up a big ambitious plan in their head, try to do too much at once, they set themselves up to fail.
So in terms of getting started, I imagine trying to create, a very thin edge of the wedge, so to speak, so that the on-ramping to something is very, very easy.
Sure.
And I suppose that could be done by a number of different approaches. You can, segment out whatever it is the habit or task that you want to do. Like you're going to write one word or one sentence or one letter. There's that approach. There's also the approach of trying to find the times of day or the environments where the wedge becomes present as opposed to being a big step, right? I suppose there's no one size fits all, but what are some of the ways to quote unquote get started? Because I think there's something incredible and somewhat depressing about the human brain where we can know something, we can know it so well that we can just think about it and loop on it and watch ourselves fail to do the thing that we're trying to do. It's kind of an incredible flaw of human nature.
Yeah.
And basically what you teach is how to overcome that flaw.
So a simple question, what are easy ways to get started? In a way, all of Atomic Habits is an answer to that question. So maybe this will be the next 2 hours is us kind of unpacking this in greater detail. But from a real high level, there are kind of 4 things that you want to do if you want to get a habit to stick. So I call it the 4 laws of behavior change, but you want to make your habit obvious. So this is about making it visual or easy to see, easy to notice. It doesn't have to be vision, but that's often the sensory perception that you use the most. Make it obvious. The second is to make it attractive. So the more fun or attractive or appealing a habit is, the more likely you are to perform it. The third thing is you want to make it easy. So the easier, more convenient, frictionless. This can be about scaling your habits down and simplifying, reducing the number of steps. And then the fourth thing is you want to make it satisfying. The more satisfying or enjoyable a habit is, the more you have this like feeling of pleasure, reward, or positive emotion associated with it, the more you're going to want to repeat it in the future. So those are the 4 steps. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, make it satisfying. There are many ways to do each of those things. And my approach is not to prescribe, but to empower. I don't really feel like there is one way to build better habits. There are many ways, and my job is to lay all the tools out on the table and say, here's a full toolkit. And then you can decide, do I use the screwdriver or do I use the wrench or do I use the hammer? Like what's best for this situation? So to build on one of those, for example, let's take make it obvious.